It's a post-industrial town with a long and proud history, but today, Dewsbury looks remarkably different to its former glories in almost every way. This statue in the town centre represents the values of toil and sport that the town was built on during the Industrial Revolution. You'll notice the man on the left is carrying a rugby ball, or more specifically, a rugby league ball.
This little West Yorkshire town, in the heart of the old Heavy Woolen district, is one of Rugby League's traditional heartland areas. But in the 21st century, the game is struggling to regain the support it once had in areas like Dewsbury, and I'm here to find out why.
The neighbouring suburb of West Town is home to Dewsbury Celtic Rugby League Club. Founded by Irish immigrants working in the town's many woolen mills, the club have been a key feature in this area of Dewsbury for well over a century. Running teams of all ages throughout the year, the club maintains a healthy, loyal support within the local and surrounding communities. However, their star player and veteran Jamaica international Danny Thomas thinks the club could do much more to attract the large Asian population that's on their doorstep.
Obviously, a lot of Asian folk in the Dewsbury area, especially where Dewsbury Celtic's based, they could be going into local schools, into local mosques, and just community groups, and just encouraging them even to come and watch the game and just see what it's all about.
Dewsbury Celtic are far from the only community club in this position. So, how could local clubs band together to increase diversity in the game at a grassroots level?
If it started at the top, from the committee at the Barla, and then they put some procedures in place, what they expected the clubs to do, it's like a knock-on effect, and everything starts at the top. And so yeah, it might be up to them to get the ball rolling with that.
This autumn's World Cup is on the horizon, and most games will take place in the north of England. So can the Jamaica team, in their inaugural appearance at the tournament, help to inspire new communities to take up rugby league?
Even though I'm representing Jamaica, I'm based in Yorkshire, and last year, leading up to the England Knights game, we were based in Leeds, and when we were going out into the community, we got speaking to a lot of people from a lot of different minorities, different ethnic minorities, and I think it definitely encouraged them just to get involved and get a rugby on their hand, and hopefully fans can go to the World Cup, and it can be a massive kite because there's all them different countries there, and there's some of them teams, there's some big characters in there. There's that it's coming against Akka and things like that, and how entertaining is that? So yeah, get some of these people who's never been to a game of rugby before, and that could hook them in itself, just watching Akka live.
Regardless of the success that the World Cup has on the international game, traditional clubs like neighbouring Batley will continue to form the bedrock of what British Rugby League is all about. Situated in the Mount Pleasant area, Batley Bulldogs are one of the game's oldest heartland clubs, and their stadium, also named Mount Pleasant, is very much the focal point of this largely residential area. Founded in 1880 and based in this area of Batley ever since, the Bulldogs have a long and proud history, and are best known for being the first ever team to win the Challenge Cup, rugby's oldest tournament, way back in 1897.
But in recent years, Batley's standing in the game has slipped, both on and off the pitch. They've been stuck in the lower tiers since the 1980s, and regular crowds at the stadium nowadays barely top 1,000 people. But it's not as if there's a shortage of sporting fans in the area. For example, opposite me is the Batley Cricket Club, which is home to numerous teams of various age groups, and adjacent to the Glenn Tomlinson stand are 3 small artificially turfed football pitches under the name Street Soccer.
Set up 15 years ago to provide footballing facilities to the young people in Mount Pleasant, the street soccer pitches are now a staple of the community in this part of Batley. It's been a barren 12 months both on and off the pitches, but there's renewed hope that they will soon be bustling again. Forever playing in the shadow of the rugby stadium, I asked owner Wasif Razul about the relationship between street soccer and the Batley Bulldogs.
It's like a blackout. We don't know nothing about rugby. From my cultural background, ethnic minority, we've never ever heard anybody from a rugby point of view come to see, speak to us, or even tell us what it's about, or even get our interest into it. Now, Batley is quite well known for rugby, but if you ask me, I've lived here all my life. I'm 38 years old. If you ask me to name one player, I couldn't name any.
But there are dozens of Batley players who play millimetres away on a weekly basis. So, why are the Bulldogs continually unable to engage the attention and support of Batley's Asian community?
There's nobody, there's not that one person that we can relate to who might be of the same religion to us, or who might be from the same country as us.
For a sport that prides itself on its values of inclusivity, Rugby League's lack of diversity is clearly far from a new issue. In Huddersfield, where the game was born, One man is hoping to be part of the solution to this seemingly unsolvable problem. A new RFL inclusion board, set up back in February, will aim to tackle the sport's inclusivity crisis, and it's being spearheaded by none other than newly appointed Huddersfield Giants captain Michael Lawrence.
There's a real mix of different people. There's people from charities, there's teachers, there's people from Amazon, there's diversity leaders from different businesses, and they all just bring different opinions and viewpoints. It's very good, really, to be fair, that they've got a good mix of people on there, and probably the link between the board and Super League and probably the rest of the players that are actually playing the game. Nobody else on the board has the experiences, the day-to-day experiences of being a professional rugby player or going out there and performing in front of the fans.
Michael is by no means the only player to have recently spoken up about diversity in rugby league. So, could his presence on the board inspire others to follow suit?
I hope so. I think that's the only way this will have, in the long term, longevity.
So, with the new inclusion board and active players at the forefront of the fight against discrimination, it appears that the sport is willing to embrace change in order to become more diverse. But Lawrence cannot disregard the most effective way in which rugby league can and must attract new audiences: growth.
The game is crying out for expansion constantly. I think that needs driving. I think that's the only way it'll grow and become more diverse over a long period of time. If the game grows and grows around the country and then eventually spilling out into other countries around the world, and I think there's plenty of opportunities to do that, and I think there's no bigger opportunity than obviously what's at the end of the year this year, the World Cup. I think that's a massive opportunity to show how inclusive and how diverse the game can be and should be.
So, with the game's governing bodies finally taking steps towards increasing its levels of diversity, Rugby League can hopefully look forward to a more prosperous, more welcoming and more multicultural future. West Yorkshire, where the game was born, will, hopefully, play a big part in helping the game broaden its horizons into new communities, be they in faraway lands or here, much closer to home. Jonathan Burnett, News at Leeds.